Welcome back to Wake the Dead. There's not much I can say that hasn't been spoken already, but the reason I repeat myself is purely for the sake of the science of neuroplasticity. When we take in the same information but in different forms over and over, it forms neural pathways which change the way we think. So be careful about what you let into your mind. Be careful about the media you consume, and be careful about what you readily accept as truth. Don't believe what I say just because I say it. Search these things within your heart and for yourself and draw to your own conclusion. And if you watch my feet and watch the way I live and it's not lining up with what I say, then pay no mind to me. Bless you all. Here's the video.
Hello everyone, it's Shadowstar again, and this is Wake the Dead. I got my first comment on a video today from Isaac Foster, and he was inquiring about why I talk about bringing light where there is darkness and not darkness where there is light, and kind of philosophically challenging why I seem to have an aversion to the darkness when in fact darkness is necessary for the light to shine. And that is actually a very important question, and I want to explain. During the human experience, we're presented with challenges and difficulties. Me as an individual, I didn't choose to be born into the circumstances into which I was born. But on a deeper spiritual level, I'm on a journey, and you're on a journey. We're all on a journey that we've been on from beginningless time through infinite space. This isn't the first time the universe came into existence, and it won't be the last. This has been going on forever and ever and ever. And most people are only aware of the physical plane of existence when in fact there are many levels of reality both within us and throughout the cosmos. From lifetime to lifetime, we learn and we grow and we face challenges and we overcome them, and we come to higher and higher levels of existence. Sometimes we spiral downwards. When we go on a path of destruction, it is because we are living to serve ourselves. When we live not to serve ourselves, but to serve the greater good, then and only then do we make decisions which bring forth positive results, which yield good fruit. There's a principle in the Wiccan tradition known as the Scourge and the Kiss. The Scourge represents difficulty, hardship, pain, suffering, and the Kiss represents peace, tranquility, and calamity that comes when we overcome the Scourge. But one is necessary for the other. Scott Cunningham wrote, "Without planting there can be no harvest, and without winter there can be no spring." If I don't work and put in labor and effort, then I can't enjoy the fruits of my labor. People who were born into wealthy families and never really had to work hard or learn how to individually fend for themselves, there's so many lessons that they're missing out on. People that are just born rich, they might never know what it's like to have a genuine friend, to have people who are there when the times get rough, because you'll always be surrounded by people who want to enhance their own egos by being associated with you and live vicariously through your success and your wealth, when in fact you were just born into success and wealth. If I'm living to serve myself and I have to sacrifice what I truly want to do, the divine will within my heart, in favor of being popular in the eyes of man or gaining glory in the eyes of my fellow human being, then I am losing so much more than I am gaining. Ever since you were a child, you knew who you were and what you wanted to do deep down. But unfortunately, we live in a society where we're discouraged from being genuine and from expressing ourselves and from following our true divine will, the path that our heart desires, our heart of hearts. In a lot of cultures, it's like this. Your parents have a profession and they want their descendants to go into that profession. But what if your child, for instance, doesn't want to be a doctor? What if your child in his heart is an artist? Well, if you convince them and pressure them and shame them into being a doctor, then they might be successful on the outside, but they won't be truly happy, they won't be truly fulfilled, because deep down they're an artist. Everything in nature has its place and it's all connected. But what our society has become is a system of manipulation, brainwashing, and control. Most people insist that they're being genuine, that they know who they are, but they really don't know who they are, because who they are is who their fellow man perceives them as, rather than who they know they are deep down in their core, in their soul. When I'm asked questions like, what is the Great Spirit? Well, I'm just giving a name to that which cannot be named. And the reason this channel was created was so that I can help others to discover the answers to such questions for themselves. If I try to explain it to you, then you're missing out on the experience, and that's the problem with mainstream religion is, you know, you got the priesthood and you got the congregation, and the priesthood, they have the direct link to divinity, and the congregation has to experience divinity vicariously through the priesthood. But the problem with that is that if each individual doesn't develop their own relationship with divinity, with spirit, then they won't be able to realize the truth for themselves. If someone else tries to convince you of the truth using their words or their understanding, and you just believe it, and then you identify with that thought form as a belief, then you haven't really realized the truth. You've just accepted a thought form and a belief and made it part of your identity. To truly realize the truth, you must let go of what you want the truth to be and what you think the truth should be. And just for a moment, step back from your beliefs. Step back from who you think you are. Step back from your conceptual identity. Step back from all conceptual thought. This is why meditation is so important. Just being still, being present, being aware of the breath, breathing in, breathing out, and just being aware of one breath at a time, one moment at a time. Gradually our minds become clear, and the light of our consciousness begins to shine through. I'll close with this. Think of the source of all life, what most people call God, or the goddess, or divinity, or spirit, or the Tao, as a great ocean, an eternal body of water. And there are an infinite amount of rivers and streams that come from that eternal body of water. And these rivers of life flow on eternally, and each one is connected to a sentient being. And one of them is even connected to you. But let's say you have a trauma. Let's say you have fears and doubts and resentments, and you're placing judgments on others, and you're bitter because you're being bullied and you're being abused, or you become a bully and you become an abuser, or you're carrying shame in your heart because you did something you knew was wrong because of peer pressure or just because you had malicious intent. All these things are like logs and rocks and sticks and bricks and walls that dam off the river of life, which flows eternally. And eventually, it's so blocked off that barely any water is getting through. And the water that is getting through is so stagnant that it becomes toxic, it becomes poisonous. And the only thing it's good for is to be a breeding ground for mosquitoes and flies and microorganisms that, if when consumed, will make you really sick or actually kill you. That's the best analogy I can come up with. If I was to do a visual of that, I would take a clear mason jar, I would fill it with water, and I would take some dirt, and I might say a childhood trauma would be like one scoop of dirt, a fear would be like another scoop of dirt, and some shame would be like another scoop of dirt. And then when I try to shine a flashlight through, the light would be barely getting through. But if I removed all that dirt from the mason jar, which represents facing all those fears and facing all those shames and any harm you've done to the world, trying to make it right, well, eventually less and less dirt is in there until eventually, if I shined a flashlight through that jar, it would clearly shine through. And the flashlight represents the light of your own consciousness. So in order to truly experience that, because you need to experience the truth in order for the truth to set you free. Me explaining this to you isn't going to set you free. Only by realizing it for within yourself can you be set free. But when you do face your own demons, the skeletons in your closet, and the things within you that haunt you and plague you, that water will become clear, and you will become transparent to the light of your own consciousness, and you will become as a beacon of light, a vessel of healing medicine, a sacred entity in this world that stands out among all the others. And people will want what you have. They will see joy in your eyes. They will see peace in your heart. They will see abundance in your life. And people who are sick within, who need answers, who thirst and hunger for truth, who just want an escape from this endless cycle of suffering, will come to you, and you will actually have an answer for them, for you will have realized it within yourself. And then you will make them as beacons and vessels in the world. And when we all come together and we make this our mission, we become an unstoppable force. So the reason that this channel exists isn't just so that I can have a voice and speak my opinions. Like, what I'm speaking are not my opinions. They're my experiences. They're the things I have learned through trial and error and difficulty. And what I'm wanting to do is help other people to realize it for themselves. Not to bring glory to me, but to bring glory to the source of life. To bring glory to what I call the Great Spirit, the indwelling presence and consciousness behind all of nature, behind the universe, behind existence itself. And after a while, I start to stumble over my words because I start to doubt myself, and I start to think, oh, I'm starting to look kind of dumb, and I'm starting to not make much sense, and I'm starting to repeat myself, but that's just my ego. And it's important here to note that I'm still a human. I still have human frailties. So I'm somebody that somebody else can relate to. I'm not looked upon as like this flawless saint. People see this guy, he has human difficulties too. He has frailties and weaknesses too. I can relate to him. And for now, I believe that's where I'm meant to be. That's why I don't edit out all the flaws and stumbling over my words and embarrassing moments out of my videos, because I want to be transparent. So Isaac Foster, thank you for starting a conversation in the comments. It means the world to me, and thank you all so much for watching. I love each and every one of you, and I wish you all the best and the brightest of blessings.